This video contains content that may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewers' discretion is advised. It is said, what is done in the dark will soon come to light. There is an ancient Chinese secret that has now been revealed. I noticed here a few months ago, China was taking jabs at America, saying that they don't know how to deal with their problems with racism. And when I thought about that, I thought about this one thing about China. What happened to the black people that were living in China? And the big secret is there were black people all over this planet, not just in Africa. And is it so hard to conceive that there was an all-out war against melanated people all across this land? We all know about the Native Americans that were killed and the Aboriginals up in Australia. But what about the blacks up in Asia? In the Bible, when it speaks about Abraham's seed being taken into captivity, most people just focus on the blacks here in America. But people have to remember, Abraham's seed were many. And Abraham had some children that he sent eastward. And in the Bible, we were warned to beware of these people that are coming from the north. You can look it up yourself and see that the Asians from the north, which were the white Asians, went to war against the Asians from the south, which were the melanated, dark-skinned Asians. And if you look up in Asia, there are no dark-skinned Asians that you can find. And the ones that you can find, they try to lie and say, oh, those some brown babies that the American soldiers fathered. But when you look up on these ancient sculptures and these reliefs on these walls, you see that there were black people all over this planet, and mainly up in Asia. That was a commercial I saw in my youth, and it was of an Asian, a Chinese guy that had a cleaners. And this white lady came in and complimented him on how white he got those clothes and were able to get the stains out. And when she asked him about it, he looked at her and whispered, ancient Chinese secret. It is no longer a secret of how you got rid of the blacks in Asia. It's that you exterminated all of them, at least all that you could capture. Here it is today, Asians want to present themselves as innocent, blameless in the genocide of black people. And when I think about these Asians and Americans, they are two peas from the same pod. I say that the Asians are more evil and corrupt than their counterparts, the Caucasians. Because the Asians just went on out and killed off as many black people as they could. The rest went and hid up in the mountain regions. But you know, when I think about these destruction of these statues, they do that to hide something from the past. And when you think about America, the places that they went to war, the things that they destroyed, what exactly did they destroy? I mean, think about it in Asia, up in Cambodia, in Vietnam. A lot of those things that went and destroyed had blacks there. The sculptures were black, so they tried to tap and destroy everything to hide that. The same as when Taliban went and destroyed those sculptures and statues up in Afghanistan. And people have to remember who funded the Taliban. America did. So all across this planet, they are trying to hide our past. But as God would have it, you just can't destroy everything. Some things are still left for us to see and to learn from. When I think about what happened to us as a people, I always think about this one thing. How did the Caucasians get a leg up in weaponry and in war? Who taught them? People always say, well, explosives were created in Asia. Really. And when I think about what happened to us as a people, somewhere along the line, black people became complacent. And they just thought that, hey, man, they would never, ever be challenged. And they can beat these people with brute force. But these slick Asian, Caucasian folks, they come up with something called explosives, bullets, that the average melanated person could not fight against. And another way that the Caucasians were able to beat the melanated man is they all came together to take down the black man. But when it comes to the black man, we are too divided. We find different reasons. Oh, he's not from my tribe. He's not from my area. We find different reasons not to come together and not understand that, hey, man, that if they come against one of us, they come against all of us. Because eventually they're going to come after all of us. See, when China makes statements like America doesn't know how to deal with this problem with racism, they are sending messages that, hey, man, y'all got to kill off all of them black folks and drive them off into the mountain somewhere. You look at Asia, you don't see not one black person on the... Since when have you watched an Asian station up in Asia and saw a black person in Asia? But when you look up on the history of Asia, that's all you see are blacks in Asia. The original Buddha is a black man. But just like what these Caucasians did with Jesus, the same thing Asians did to Buddha. God lives in us. His word is in us. We just refuse to do what God says. When we are confronted in these different situations, we don't do what God says do. We do what fear says to do. We have to take away all fear and do what God says to do. And if your mind tells you to handle this situation in a certain way, you do it just that way. Don't let doubt come into your mind and have you do something different. Because in the end, it is going to be you that is going to be paying for that damn decision. But just as you look on all these different reliefs and these different writings that people have left in the past saying what is going to happen in the future, people always get stuck in this one particular area about blacks going into slavery and how we are suffering. But they don't want to go on and continue on into what's the outcome of all this going to be. What are going to happen to the people that enslaved us, that killed us, that performed genocide on many of our brothers and sisters? What is going to be their outcome? In this relief, you have women here that are going into battle. And the same thing is going to happen, is that every able-bodied person will be needed. Your body will be required on the battlefield. And I have been noticing that we have quite a few cowards amongst us that want to talk the peace talk. A lot of people think that they can ignore these people into treating us right. If y'all just be quiet and don't say nothing, maybe they will leave us alone. And when has that ever worked? It has not worked. All you are doing is surviving, not being a man, not trying to make a change for the future of your seed. And they have a place for you, you cowards. And not to stray away from the subject, is that I notice on this particular relief right here, is that I see simians alongside of man. So are the forces of nature going to help the black man out in this fight? Because let's face it, Caucasians have been enemies to everything on this planet, animals included. At this particular point, nothing surprises me. All I can say is we would just have to wait and see. The one thing I can see right now is that you Asians, you Chinese, you can get off the charade. We know that you are just as evil as the Caucasians. Maybe that's why y'all names have Asians in it. Because you are two of the same people. And what you people did, the Caucasians did, is that they went to war against God's children. And you have to pay for it. You may think that you can go hide in some cave, or you can beg and plead, and everything is going to be over with. But all of the millions of melanated people that you people have killed, you got to pay for it with your lives and the lives of your seed. You don't believe me? Pick up a Bible. But I know that you're trying to do away with that as well, because you're all confused right now. The things that you supported, you are no longer supporting because you are confused. You think trouble is coming when nothing is really happening because you are scared and afraid. And you know that one day the black man and woman will be coming for your hide. So you Asians, y'all can get off this mess and trying to force America into kissing your behind and to, backtracking on what we have to say about you. You better be careful what you say about the Chinese. You're going to get in trouble. Man, damn those Chinese. See, another thing I'm going to tell you about here in America with the black man is that we have Vietnamese and Koreans here in the black neighborhood. And yes, sometimes I do find it possible to have a conversation with these people. And each and every one of them has told me bad things about the Chinese. They all hate the Chinese. They say the Chinese are oppressors. They're corrupt. Just like the black man is saying about the Caucasians here in America. So you people are two peas and one pod. And this front like y'all are so much enemies. Y'all are not enemies. Y'all are friends. Y'all are, as they say, partners in crime. I mean, the Africans were going to Asia. Why didn't the Asians, the white Asians, hip the Africans on to explosives and weapons? Why did they give all of that to the Caucasians? Hey man, the jig is up. We know that you people are together. And now that we know that, because hey, guess what? In order to go into any war, you have to know who the enemy is. And the way I look at it, that's all we have is enemies. So, hey, when we hit that battlefield, which is going to happen very, very soon, because you have some people that are just pushing it, and they want it. At least they think they want it until they get it. There is no turning back. Forward is where we must go. Look at all of the things that have come to pass that was prophesied. And what else was prophesied is that who that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. Hey, get your walking shoes ready, because into captivity, the Asians and the Caucasians will be going.